Morning. Today's coffee is brought to you by the A Mug and my survival of my doctor's appointment yesterday. I just went and watched Coffee with Anna yesterday because I was like, Anna, there are certain words that I would really hope that we didn't just dump on the internet about the bodies and your current situations. Like, how did you tell that story? Because I said to Shayna, he's like, is this going on the internet? And I was like, I made a commitment to myself to tell a story for a month straight, so I knew how to organize my content. It is unfortunate that this situation is happening while I made that commitment to myself, and I don't know if I can go back on my word, so I got to talk about it in a way that is appropriate, because my panic and anxiety are like, are they going to take my thighs? The good news is that yesterday in the appointment, the immediate response was, we have to cut off your thighs. I don't know why that is my biggest concern, because what they do have to do is surgical, and it's in a month, and I have to mentally prepare for it. And the answer was not, we have to remove your thighs. I'm grateful for that, but the answer is surgical. And I did find the best of the best, fingers crossed, reviews. And if anybody is looking for a doctor that specializes in women's health, period, I implore you, please let me know and I will send you their social media, because I was very grateful that I saw their social media beforehand, and the video of like, this is what to expect when you come to our office. Like, it's super posh and wonderful, which I'm grateful. It better feel freaking fancy. If the expectation, you better have free snacks and waterfalls and luxury couches. If you want me to take my pants off in your doctor's office, I think that's a prerequisite. Box check. Your staff better be super freaking delightful and treat me with like little kid gloves of like, how we doing today? Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Like, walk me through the process. And they had no idea that they were getting this anxiety-ridden person, but I would assume that I'm not the only person that has some anxiety about doctors and bodies and all those things. And so they were unbelievably delightful. And I came in with my manila folder with my 3 pages of clinical history since September of 2023, the first documented case of antibiotics needed for a unexplained UTI that we couldn't figure out, but we figured out. Like, I just thought it was dehydration and the nutrition issues. It's also the fundamentals of the way that my body is working after all of this weight loss. Like, I've had to, like, for a year, my GI system was at the don't eat anything you wouldn't put on a open wound. Like, my whole system has been grossly affected by this. That was difficult to manage. Like, my esophagus, like my throat was burned, my stomach was, it was gastritis, and a severe case. So in dealing with that, I had already lost a ton of weight, but then I also had to really address what foods and what order to eat foods for my system to be able to handle that. Like, I am O negative blood type, and if I don't eat protein first and I just go for the candy and the carbs, which is what I want, or even the vegetables or fruit, my stomach is not going to do well. If I don't put protein in there first, because it needs fibrous meats to work on. I didn't know that growing up. Everybody started the meals with the salad or soup. No wonder my body didn't enjoy that. I didn't realize I had to eat a hunk of protein before I ate anything else, and then I can eat anything. Figuring out that's what, like, if anybody's like, oh wait, how did you know that? Eating right for your blood type, it worked. And just because I know how and what just because somebody knows what they should eat or when they should eat, doesn't make it so that they're not a candy addict and want to dive into the candy drawer face first. But also knowing, like, yeah, but I also don't want to have my stomach upset all the time. Maybe we have to learn a healthier balance with food. It's like, that's the reason I didn't get my stomach cut open and redone, like, and rerouted. Because it was like, I didn't know that, and they didn't focus on teaching me that. That took until I was 40 to learn. But at 25, they were just going to cut me open and change shit. Like, that's the medical advances on weight loss and how to deal with those things are changing, but it takes a lot of work. Figuring out how to navigate my GI system that's always been difficult to navigate, and knowing that it has to do with the connective tissue disorder. And literally my autism and ADHD are tied to the GI issues I've had my whole life, because they've discovered that those are related. Hi, genetics. made it so that I had to explain to the doctor. I was on antibiotics for UTIs like 3 times in 1 year. And it was while I was really dehydrated and all these things. I was like, but the symptoms were difficult. Like I was able to manage those by taking Azos or cranberry juice or just really making sure I was watching my hydration. But still, I've been having this issue of irritation and I lost all this weight and I don't care about it's not comfortable, but like I'm not looking to like nip and tuck and let's mommy make over it. Like my body dysmorphia is getting to the point where I'm accepting the cardinal damage, the collateral damage that's left over. I'm not in here looking to be like, let's get a 20-year-old body. I don't know if I want that. My 20-year-old body it was still a 40-year-old woman's body. It's not. My body is significantly better than it was when I was 20. I don't necessarily look to like, let's slice and dice her up. Like, I don't know if I want to make that decision. That looks like it hurts. The research that I did while I was losing this weight, I knew what I could possibly be looking at. People get arm lifts, breast corrections, whether they have to fill it, tuck it, nip it, whatever. They have their stomach apron removed. They have a thigh reduction. They have excess skin removed from between their thighs. Like all of these different things that can happen when the body loses 100. Like I was saying to the doctor yesterday, she's like, how much weight did you lose? And I said, my highest was about 310-ish. And right now I'm like 180 something. I said my highest was like I lost 140. My highest weight loss I think was around 140. I said at one point I was like 155, and that was not healthy. I looked gross. I looked sick. I looked like I was dying of cancer. And she looked at me in my frame and she goes, "How tall are you?" And I said, "I think I'm about 5'5", but I think I might be in that age where it's starting to reduce, and I just haven't noticed yet because I'm feeling shorter than I was." And she's like. She kind of looked at me and she's like, "How did you feel at your lowest?" And I said, I said, I didn't feel good and I know that it wasn't healthy. Like that's not necessarily my goal. I said, but I spent this summer working my ass off. I said, I built a garden, right? I was never a gym person and I don't have the brain that can go to a gym and find that entertaining where it's like, I'll say to Shane, like, why would I go to CrossFit? I sweat just as much doing what I do in the garden because it's my workout. But I also have a garden afterwards. I'm just not at CrossFit because I don't know how to compete against myself in that. I need to have I physically worked my ass off, but then I need to be able to see what I did. And a Stairmaster's never, or a treadmill or a bike or weights have never done that to me because I don't see whether I'm 155 pounds and don't have the muscle that I currently do, because it is better now, or I'm 180 pounds and can tell that I have more muscle, but like some of them don't work right sometimes. I have too much collateral damage of the skin that was carrying 300 pounds around that is no longer, where it doesn't matter. Like I have changed 30. I said I changed 30 pounds since my lowest. And although I feel better, I am unable to actually see that effect on my body because of the excess how do you do's and the way gravity is affecting it. But I feel stronger, or I will feel different in my clothes. I can feel the difference, but that visually, I'm not able to see that. So can you tell me what I'm looking at? Because everything feels weird. Like my arms feel just as weird as my thighs do, just as weird as my stomach does, just as weird as what I perceive as to be 9 ass cheeks. Although my husband has set my anxiety at ease because I can't see that. Where it's like, are there 9 of them back there? Because I feel like I'm carrying around 9 asses, babe. And he's like, no, there's just one. And it's like, as much as I can grab this and be like, but this, is that a whole, but it's at, the back of my thigh. It's like, but this feels like an ass cheek. Like everything is very stretchy and moves. And this is not where I lost 50 pounds from. It's like, if this stretches the way that it does, because I have connective tissue issues and the collagen in my skin is breaking down. If I can do that, imagine what I can do on my bingo arm. And I have to identify the differences that I've noticed, or what I know is the difference when I talk about it, is body dysmorphia, and not understanding it is that is better. Where I used to have panic attacks and what I used to refer to as memento moments, where my own reflection in a mirror would give me a panic attack because I thought there was a stranger in the house. Like that is not there anymore. Like now I understand what I look like. Still, when I see myself in pictures, now, I'm less startled because that feels like real life. But when I see pictures of our wedding or 3 years ago, I'm startled because it's like, we looked like that? How did that look like that? And it's not just the blonde or pink hair. It's like there is a significant visual difference, and I don't not see that. I'm just so overwhelmed by the sensory dysregulation that it causes that it doesn't matter to me that I look that way. It still feels. Having to go to a doctor about what I didn't know is that this where insurance could say, oh, is she just choosing to cut things off? It's like, I'm not choosing to do that. I will do that if it is medically necessary and we can go that route. But the problem that I'm having is not just, I don't like this skin. It's like something is irritated and aggravated since September of 2023, cyclical, and there's not something that I can see on the outside of like, it's not a rash, it's not a wound. It feels like I got stung by a bee in my pants areas. What I should have said to that woman of like, why'd you cancel your appointment is because a bee did not sting me in my pants area. But oh my gosh, for some reason, why do I feel like I'm having an anaphylactic reaction in my shorts? And what I have described to my husband of like, I feel like I'm having an anaphylactic reaction in my shorts. Turns out there's a cyst that I can't see. Oh, no. There's no way that I would have known was there unless it was inflamed. And apparently this kind of cyst will cyclically just randomly get angry. And then by the powers that be, gets unangry. And then a month later would get angry again. It's like, because by the time that I was like, oh God, I think feels like I got stung by a bee in my pants. By the time I got to the doctor, the initial reaction was subsiding, and it was like, was that in my head? Like, am I allergic to that kind of underwear or pants, or did I wear something wrong? Did I use a different body wash? Like, I didn't know, right? So yesterday, when I went in and I had to take my hands off and have somebody check out everything, my thighs and everything in between, it's like, oh, you have a cyst. It was like, where? And she's like, it was very confirming that I'm not a crazy person. And she, like, I was not going to know this was there or this was a problem, and I wasn't going to be able to describe it the right way until I was having the 15-day flare-up of like 100 bees got in my pants, I think. 100 bees, Shane. Where did we get 100 bees from? Because I think they all stung me in my pants and ass cheeks areas maybe. I don't know. Who do you talk to and how do you get on a phone with your insurance company to tell them you have that problem? Yeah. And I'm under the impression that one of the biggest specialties she has, besides people who just feel like they got stung by bees in their pants, is dealing with women's bladder control and all of those things. Like, she does hormone replacement, she does medical weight loss, she is a trained reconstructive surgeon, and why I had to call her. But her office, like that's like hyper focused, but her clinic, her clinic and practice is proactive and preventative, right? Like, she's cleaning up the damage of what not caring for a system in the right way. And I could have probably used hormones or estrogen while I was going through all the dehydration and malnutrition issues, because it kicked my body into a super aging process. My skin is thinner, my teeth are falling out. Like, this is just the collateral damage. And so the staff, when I went in, were asking a lot of the basic questions for a lot of the people that normally go in. And it was, do you pee your pants when you cough and sneeze and laugh or whatever? And it's like, no. And then I kind of was like, okay, there's one situation where I can't, this is not what I'm here for. I'm here because I'm having bees in my pants. But like, in that conversation, there is only one instance that I cannot survive. And that is if I hear my cat throw up. It makes me gag so bad. And I've spent so many years training my system to not throw up because my nausea was so bad that I can hear that, but it sounds like a grown ass man up chucking. And if I hear that, my body physiologically gags. so hard that despite when I in my chart, you'll see that I broke my tailbone when I had my son, and then I didn't sit down for 4 years because it hurt so bad, and then I had to have pelvic physical floor therapy to strengthen the muscles of my pelvic floor for 6 months, which was very aggressive, and I hope that she is doing well because we became real good friends real fast. Despite all of that pelvic training I've had, if I hear that cat throw up, I cannot help but not pee my pants a little bit. And it is very upsetting to me because he ate plastic the other day. And by the third time, Shane laughed his ass off because I was like, God damn it, Murphy, stop puking. I have to change my underwear. I told the doctor that yesterday while I didn't have pants on to break the tension in the room because I'm an awkward person. But she's like, okay, so that's not the main issue. I was like, that is definitely not the main issue unless you got a jackass cat. That is the only time that I cannot mind over bladder. And like otherwise, I'm good. I got it. I'm just here because the bee's in my pants. At least they laughed and thought I was enjoyable, I think. The response is surgery. 2 surgeries, different times. I would not have chosen to do something like this electively, knowing that I have to do this. Okay. Knowing that I have to have surgery on one of the most sensitive parts of my body, go through a 6 to 8 week recovery process, and I still have bingo arms. Why didn't I get to be able to choose whether or not I want to cut my arms off? You gotta reconstruct parts that people don't even see. Lame. It's a lot to wrap my head around, and knowing that that 2026 is going to result in 2 different surgeries. Well, that's not my favorite. But I'm grateful that I've set up to be able to work from home because 6 to 8 weeks of recovery, there's no way I could have been out of the house during that. So I should be able to go forward in my ultimate goal of being a worker bee, which is what I've been trying to do. And so getting this, I'll be able to recover here and set up the 2 surgeries this year so that it's done and over with. But consulting with a reconstructive surgeon, after you lose 140 pounds, and if somebody were like, oh, you lost a lot of weight, you might have to talk to a reconstructive surgeon. This is the last part of my body or areas that I would have been like, yeah, let's go there first. I was like, April, this might make it so that it's going to be a lot. And the recovery's a lot. And I don't think I'll choose to ever address the excess bingo arm. I might have to learn to live with my crazy bingo arms, which I don't mind. But learning to live with the other parts of my body, it's the pain of these 2 surgeries might make it so I never choose to address the rest of them. This might be enough for me to want to avoid it altogether. And that didn't feel like I had the choice. But I tried all summer to be able to build as much muscle as possible to not be so oversensory by the skin situation. And if this is the best that it is, great. I'll just continue to figure that out. I don't know. All I know is that I'm grateful to know that it's not just oh, I'm being dramatic, I'm uncomfortable. It's no, we medically have to cut this and reconstruct this. This is affecting your quality of life, and there's no question about this being cosmetic. You don't get necessarily a choice. It's okay. And you especially don't feel like you have a choice when it's and we'll take it to send it to pathology to make sure that there's not something, going on. It's oh, that it could be something, because you can't see it. And it's assumed to be a benign cyst, but it's do you want, yeah, yep. And it's okay, what does that entail? And she's well, reconstruction. It's But it could be something. All right. It's okay, there's something there that's not supposed to be there. In order to remove it, you have to rebuild, a whole situation. It could be something, but also it could come back. Listen, I'm grateful you don't have to take my thighs, but pathology wasn't necessarily a word I thought we were talking about today. So I'm going to wrap my head around that. And I even said, I was okay, so if we send it out, we do the thing, I recover, pathology, and that's great. It was just a one-off. Is there still a chance that it might come back because of the skin and anatomical structure now of where my loose skin and body are. Like, is this, are these 2 surgeries going to make it so I don't need a third? Because I don't know if I want a second. And it's like, it's medical. They can't guarantee that. And thank God she didn't, because I'd be like, yep, I'm going to talk to somebody else, because you cannot guarantee shit like that. You cannot take 45 years of a body going through being rode hard and then put away wet, or just treated like it was going to last forever. Like the multi-system functional things that are happening, she can't guarantee that, because it could be that the whole time my thighs were the problem and they're not taking those. Whatever. This is weird. Well, they're not taking them yet. We got to start with the fundamental first problems and go from there. Eating an elephant one bite at a time still makes you want to gag a little bit. Welcome to your new reality. I just had a nice day break where the costumer came and dropped off fabric, because I need a certain type of fabric to be able to get the aesthetics that I want in the costuming that I'm doing. And we are on a reconnaissance mission of fabric, and my go-to fabric place, the Joann's, doesn't exist anymore. So, and after even acquiring an entire stock of every fabric you can imagine, the only thing I don't have is an off-white poly cotton rip stop, which in an off-white and a weight of like 6 ounces. So I'm looking for a very specific thing, and I'm doing that with ChatGPT while I'm getting ready to remember the fish order I was working on, where it's like, can I take a minute to like reset my space and then do it? Today's the day. So I'm excited about that. I said to the customer, I was like, listen, I got some not of my favorite news yesterday, but I think that it happened for a reason, and you came today and we talked about the things that we did, but it's not working out, that you might need a little bit of access to somebody who has some time on their hands, who can't physically do a lot, but can. He's like, do you think we can get the costume? And I was like, I think it's the only thing I'm going to be able to do for a good couple of weeks while this is healing, which is good, because the releasing the ability to do the special order t-shirt quilts for graduations, I'm not releasing that yet, and I don't have that deadline of people having to have a deposit and things dropped off until like April 1st. So technically, while I'm recovering and doing these things, I couldn't have been out of the house anyway working in this recovery. I would have to take 6 to 8 weeks off as it is, or at least really be prepared for the fact that that's just the first one. Then there's a second surgery. Don't know what the recovery time on that is. I didn't want to know after she said, we'll do that other part that other later. And it's like, okay, two times? So I know that your goal is Trans World, and the biggest haunt convention thing that happens is in March, end of March, right? So technically, like, you might need a little bit of extra help, brain power, manpower, or keyboard, or picture taking, or social media, whatever you need. And I might need somebody who understands that some days I might not be able to stand up, because we're addressing the bees in my pants. We're addressing the fact that sometimes my body reacts as if though it's like allergic to life. Or for like a year, I thought it might be just allergic to underwear. Don't love that. I appreciate that I've known that man since high school, and that I can say things like that, and he just is. There's still a look on his face, like it's still an endearing look, and not like, this bitch is crazy. He's an artist as well, so I was very excited to show him the studio and the wall, and he's like, I've been watching your social media. It's like, I'm so grateful. Like I was like, you know how I was all the stuff I did 65 secret presents and custom orders during Christmas I couldn't talk about. So now the fact that I could get back on, everyone's like, oh, what are you up to? What's this wall? I was like, yeah, only the Coffee with Anna people really kind of saw me go through that craziness. Appreciate you all. But being able to, instead of just texting him of like, just wait until you see how I'll be able to help, and let's do fucking costumes. Like the Go Anna that I will blow up his Facebook Messenger at 2:00 in the morning when I'm hyper focused on watching the Nutcrackers. Can't. The YouTube had like the Nutcrackers costuming department documentary that I hyper-focused and fell asleep to. So he woke up one morning and was probably like, oh my God, Anna, please get some sleep. I'm sure it came off more as like a threat and a warning of like, just you wait until you see what I'm doing here. So like he came over and was able to see the space where I said to him, I was like, we put up the quilt wall, and now my quilting stuff is not in the way of I can do a costume at the same time. Oh, things are moving forward in a positive way that makes me very excited and makes my tail wag. Oy vey. Anyway, I know I want to do a walkthrough because I did like that midway one with my glasses, but I'm going to do a walkthrough because I had said to him, I said, the wall's 90% done. I said, what happened is, I'll show you now. The wall is 90% done, and every time I walk upstairs, I just swoon. So it is in the right area of things. But I said to him, I said, and one of the things that I noticed, I said, technically right now, I have 2 styling stations where two hairstylists or doesn't matter if it's a makeup artist, if I'm doing hair, makeup, costuming, it doesn't matter. I have the staging of like a dressing room area where if a mirror goes over on that side, this is still, it photographs so well where I was like, I ain't touching that until I know I can, because costumes, I'm just going to do the walk up, right? You walk up the stairs that I haven't done yet, and I'm planning to stain them and then put a rug on them. I just don't know what. But you walk up, and it's a clear view to that window over there where my cousin came over yesterday, and he's like, I've been watching videos. Where in your house are you? Like Shane's cousin on TikTok is like, what? Where are you? It's like, that's my house. I lived here. We didn't know. Shane built this. It is so efficient. Oh, I can't. My paint, I haven't spilled one, knock on wood, I haven't spilled 1 pint of paint. You walk in, ideally that would be the hair washing station is there. I'm going to turn the camera on. Stairs, shop bathroom. This is going to be a corner cabinet built in. There, I'm going to leave the windows uncovered. Station. Right now, that is all storage. That's not efficient, where it's like that is a bin of festival hair that I cannot wait to get into, and that bin behind it has all the stuff to make it amazing. Those are different orders. That has nothing in it yet. This is all stuff that doesn't live up here but doesn't go anywhere yet. Got to absolutely love that shelving that Shane put in. This is my one of my cutting ironing tables. This is my calendar that I've accepted the fact that I can't write on a calendar and it make me happy. So Cam comes over and she fills up my calendar. That's a sewing storage. It's over by the sewing of the quilts. That will all be supplies for quilting so that it can stay on that side, way away from the pints of paint. So the quilt wall and all the sewing supplies are on this side. Then that will be quilt supplies. And then I can go outside, and we're eventually figuring out how to build that out, because it's going to go from a 4-foot wide space to like a 10-foot wide space. And I had a dream that we built the ability to put a greenhouse off of our balcony during the winter, because in my brain, there's no reason I can't. I gotta stop watching YouTube when I fall asleep. But I don't need an entire suspended greenhouse, because that doesn't make sense with thermal mass. But I am going to take the greenhouse that I use, or the little greenhouse that I used for my seed starts last year, where I took over my whole kitchen and the game room. And then I was like, there's so much dirt. This window gets light amazingly. So I'm going to set up somewhere over here the ability to seed start from up here and then be able to go down, because right outside is there's my pumpkin dome, and then there's the quad beds of the garden. Like, being outside up here is amazing. This used to be our bedroom, and I never walked out there ever one time, except when I had to chase a cat one time. But I thought I would fall off because they didn't build it right, so it's got to come down. Nobody else can walk on it right now. But in figuring out what we want to do, we want to go 10 feet out and have a deck so I can put a hot tub down below. And technically, that's how I can have a greenhouse up there, is because if I put a hot tub underneath, thermal mass, it'll heat the whole thing. Oh, poor Shane. Anyway, that little area will be my where I have a place to hang my costumes, and I have a place to put my sewing machines up there, where my backup sewing machines will even be out of the way. What? This will be more costuming supplies, I think. That is a sittable bin and some orders that I'm organizing next to Space Command. And then I'm back to the beginning, where this is all going to be hair, and the hair stuff there, not not hair stuff that's attached to heads. But then over here will be all the organizations of paints, whether that's acrylic or house paint or wall paint. Like, the ability to be efficient in this room is coming together. That is very exciting. I had asked my cousin, who I had done I made fish pillows for, I think I did 13 of them, and then ornaments. But I have 2 quilts left, and where I said to her, I can get them done, but I want to be extra fancy with them a little bit. And if you can give me a little extra time, I can be a little extra zhuzhy for you and your mom. And so they gave me the grace and patience to be creative. So I have all the panels up, and they've been up since they left, and I redid this whole room. And it's like, okay, now it's time. So I think today in the, Anna, stop walking around. You're supposed to be resting. I'm going to, resting. I literally said to a doctor, I was like, we were sitting down and we're probably a good half hour into the appointment. I was like, I haven't sat down this long in months. I don't sit down. I don't like it. And now it's physically not comfortable because bees. So my goal today is to make sure that I have this place set up not only for the functionality of now, but also for the next couple of months in whatever state of mobility I have or comfortability. But is to get as much things that I know I can get done in the next 4 weeks before I have to have surgery. So it's like this quilt will probably be done unless something stops me for some reason. I think I'm set up. I said to Shane, once I start touching it, I'm not done. And I know I can sew a quilt in 6 hours, but I don't know what quilt I'm sewing. I know that I have some things decided and some things not. So it's like, okay, if I'm working on that, that should be done by midweek next week, even if it takes me a long time. I have to wash. I have this amazing Harley quilt that I want to take pictures of, so I want to get it on that wall, because if I have to wash this quilt one more time because my cat sits on it, it drives me nuts. But we're donating it, and I want to make sure that they have pictures so that they can use it to whatever purposes. But it's a king-size quilt, and I've never been able to take a good picture because it didn't have a king-size wall, and now it do. So after I take a picture of the king-size quilt on the king-size wall, I'm going to do another Packer quilt, because that is one of the package that I'm putting together, is being able to do as much as I can with clothes that are memories. Out of this one big bin, I don't have all the math, but I will have completed 4. I don't know what the dimensions are exactly. I have to look to see what they are, but they're like good. They're bigger than throws. Twins, let's say 4 twin size quilts and 13 pillows, and I still have extra fabric. So it's like what I'm able to do with the rule is, if you can wash it in your sewing machine, and you have washed it in your sewing machine, damn it, if you've washed it in your washing machine and have dried it, then I would like the challenge of putting it into a quilt. And so that is what I'm doing. And I'm 90% up and over that mountain. I just have to get it done, right? Then I'm going to do the 4th quilt, that all of them are different and all of them are just unique and special memories, right? After that, I have a concert t-shirt quilt that I have to film and do, because that is the prototype I'm using for the footage for the class that I'm building. And then I have a Crown Royal quilt that somebody messaged me about and was like, hey, can you do this? It's like, yep. 2 days later, I get another message where somebody's like, oh, I've been meaning to message you. I want to get one made. And it's like, okay, what are you thinking? And they're like, probably some shirts, because they have like I don't know how to say it. They have a themed job. Sure. And they have work shirts. That's better. And they're not a cartoon character. And maybe they're Crown Royal bags. And I was like, Shane, the sewing gods has smiled upon me, because I might be able to get to do 2 Crown Royal quilts before the push of graduation quilts. I coffee with Anna, my friends and people who are paying attention to this. Some people follow me because they think I'm quirky. Some of you are out there like, oh yeah, I keep getting like, oh, I've been meaning to reach out to you about a quilt. People knew that I was busy and didn't have time. I'm nervous about releasing the availability to do I have the ability to do graduation quilts before graduation, before, June 5th or whatever it is. If you have any interest in getting on that list, I'm not putting that out there for a few weeks, but the other quilt orders that are coming in are diminishing how many I can take. So it's like, if you want to call dibs on that spot, I will give you first open access. I might only be able, especially with this surgery, I might be able to do 4 of them. So it's like, if you want to get one of those in before graduation, call me. And I would love to do more sequoia quilts because that's what I have to be able to say, hey, so it's like I might just get more sequoia quilts, especially if you're looking for something other than I need to practice and be able to document how to navigate jerseys, right? Well, not only have I done that, I just did 3 sequoia quilts from people who all graduated the same years. They were all the same jerseys. So it's like I need different examples, whether it's a different sport for the sequoias or Antioch or a different school. So it's like I'm those ones get top priority before I say, yep, I'll just take more. Just any old quilt ones. I would like to curate the ones to make sure that I have both of those things. Any hoozles, if you're looking for a t-shirt quilt, you have to message me because I have 2 orders next week where it's like, okay, that calendar's not filling up and I got to figure out how to put those things on a board. And I say I'm going to put it on the board and it's like, what board? Joe is here. We're talking about like, Anna and all of our ideas is like, well, what about this? And he's like, okay, yes, that is... I have to leave in 7 minutes. He's like, can we put a pin in that? He's like, do you have a board? Do you have a pin? And I was like, oh my God. And I got up and I grabbed this board and was like, look, this is going to be my new project board. And he's like, you got a pin? I was like, yeah. He's like, you don't even need to write anything down. He's like, just put that pin in there. Just put that pin right there. We know that we're going to do that, but that's our pin. It's like, okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to have to write that down. But second of all, I don't know if anybody could be more excited about a calendar that I won't write on and a board that I don't know where to hang. But that means everybody's been relatively healthy, except for me and my inability to wear pants for the next month. I can wear pants. Like, I didn't. Yes, this is a very interesting and weird thing to have to navigate on the internet and to talk about, but it is also, I don't know how to not talk about or think about other things. Like I'm looking for the positivity, but I also have to mentally psych myself up to go do medical things and do that. And I know how to do that because I did that for Grayson and my mom on the internet to resource information of like, how do I do this? I don't know where else to talk about this. Thank God not a lot of people are paying attention right now. But some of the, Anna, do you have hesitation about discussing private things like this on the internet in the private way that you do? Will I put it on YouTube? Probably not. This is probably B-side shit. But I've gotten 3 messages today for people who are like, one of them was like, oh, I have this person who my girlfriend was talking to me and she was like, I want to send it to somebody else because somebody else had said something to me privately and was like, I don't know what to do about this. I want to send the information. Would you recommend her? And it's like, yes, 100%. I got one of those. And then I got 2 other people that they're not completely random, but we probably would have never had this conversation on the street. But my openness of like, I don't like to take my pants off even for doctors because I'm autistic and I don't like my own skin touching my own skin. And I got the isms, right? My ability, that is like everybody has these experiences. But I personally, who I am as a person and somebody who identifies as an artist and a storyteller, me telling the story of that in the way that I do has not only grossly benefited me from finding other people who were going through the same things when it came to Grayson's and his airway shutting down and my mother's heart giving out. So, and her whole systematic failures. It's like, that was the biggest community that I was able to find. Like I'm okay if somebody wants to like judge it because 3 people have more tools in their tool belt on how to navigate or help somebody else navigate forward. And that shit is important. Ah, crap. Maybe this does go on YouTube. Oh, I don't know how to make that decision. Anyway, I got to get to sewing and figure out what I just said for the last 10 minutes. And now anybody else who's made it this far also has that information because I was looking for a Liam Neeson of somebody who I could have a conversation with, and she checked so many boxes of even ones I didn't need, right? She's talking about her social media. Go check out her social media. And in this realm, you're like, I wonder what other services she provides. I don't know if I don't think I'll ever be able to say anything more than like, are we going to have to remove my thighs? This is a problem. That's about all you're going to get out of me on the internet. But still, the space between and anything that has in the women's realm of things, I have never talked to a medical professional and been so comfortable. And yes, I will make sure that I share that with the internet, as much as I have asked for questions on hearts and lungs and reproductive systems and all of the different systems that I have dealt with Grayson and my mom. It's like, yeah, this isn't different. And I would be a dick if I didn't talk about my own shit. So if you're a person of a certain age that is looking for a doctor that didn't just want to talk about if we were having babies or not, like that experience in that realm was very different and wonderful. So if you're looking for any of the problems that her social media is saying that she is good at, she was wonderful to speak to, and I am confident enough to schedule a surgery with her, and most likely a second one within the next 12 months. That is, I talk about the things I like, and as much as I talk about the things I don't like and how I deal with them, I also want to make sure that the things that I like that are helping me go forward, that I am sharing that. Eek. I'm going to sit and sew at some point. It's my first pack of seeds. My first pack of seeds of the season came. I think they're little mini pumpkins. It's mini pumpkins, and they're white and orange and black, and I gotta fix the pumpkin dome. It is way too cold outside. Shane and I were just talking about, like, okay, where am I gonna put tomatoes? Like, what are we gonna do this year? It's like, I'm so excited to garden. It's because I'm halfway through this packer quilt, making progress.